Hello and welcome to ETH Insights, where the leaders of today explore the ideas that will shape tomorrow. Cybersecurity in India is at a tipping point. Fragmented systems, multiple vendors, and rising threats have made defense more complex than ever. But a shift is underway, from patchwork tools to unified AI-driven platforms. Joining us today is Swapna Bapat, Managing Director and Vice President for India and SAARC at Palo Alto Networks. Today we'll unpack what's driving this consolidation, how AI is transforming threat response, and what Indian enterprises need to do to build real cyber resilience. Hello, Swapna. Welcome to ETH Insights.
Pleasure being here, Anika. Thanks for having me.
Swapna, first looking at the broader picture, India's cybersecurity ecosystem, it's quite fragmented, as one would say. Organizations, they're going to multiple vendors for multiple solutions. What are the kind of challenges you would say it creates for the organizations?
Yeah, before we get into the challenges, why are we here? There was this phase in cybersecurity, right? For every new change that happened in the digital landscape, there was a reason to protect it. Okay, we developed digital identity, let's go and start protecting it. Hey, we developed the internet, the network has to be protected, and so on. And the whole defense mechanism started when one professor decided to create a virus, and that started the whole bad side. Why do we need cybersecurity? So what ended up happening is enterprises had piecemeal solutions for different problems in the environment. On an average, based on one of the studies that IBM Business Value ran with Palo Alto Networks, apparently average 60 plus solutions in an enterprise. So you can imagine how hard it is for CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer, and his or her team to be able to look across the entire enterprise and identify when something bad happens, where did it start? Right. And where is it going to end? And how could I have stopped it? Or what exactly stopped it? What are the preventive measures I should take going forward? So this proliferation of multiple security tools in an enterprise has caused a fragmented view of security. And a fragmented view of security does not allow to give concrete results. It creates more questions than answers at the end of the day. So what is necessary is to bring these security solutions into a platform approach, but not compromise on best of breed.
But in such a scenario, how do you see that consolidation addresses the challenges, and what are the real benefits of having all your cybersecurity solutions on a single platform driven by AI?
Yeah, so I think the biggest advantage is having a single data lake, single security data lake. There's one place where all the telemetry from the entire enterprise is coming into. So let's take an example, telemetry from endpoint, telemetry from identity is all coming into one place. You can actually run simulations, you can actually run correlations, you can stitch this data together and understand what is happening in your environment. Today, an analyst has to look at 3 different user interfaces, screens, to understand, okay, let me figure out what is happening on the endpoint, then let me go and figure out what's happening on my identity, and so on and so forth in my network. Having a single platform exposes that security data lake to already stressed analyst and allows them to correlate that data across the enterprise. That gives also the ability to use AI. AI is as good as the data it is built on and it feeds off of. And if you have data which is broken, which is siloed, AI won't work. So fundamental to providing high quality security is having the data in one place, which platformization allows. I also want to talk about another side of security where bringing platforms is a huge advantage. Let's think about the network. The network is a very complicated, though you can say it's one of the oldest part of the enterprise, if you will. The modernization hasn't happened that much. It's still the most important part because that's what connects people. And pre-COVID, post-COVID, it's a very diverse way of working. The next generation, as you know, wants to work from anywhere. Right. They want to work on choice, they want to work on a different time frame. But with all this, does security get compromised? Yes, if you don't do it properly. One of the biggest drawbacks you can see in such a multifaceted network is the lack of single policy. We tend to solve security problems as and when they come up. And hence that what ends up happening is having different policies in different parts of the network. If you have a single platform, independent of where the individual is, you can identify the individual and then run a single policy across your entire network environment. Again, single platform for network security, single data lake, giving you operational ease, using AI, understand what's happening in your environment, take the right security measures. And then when you go to the threat landscape, whether it's in the network or any other portion of the enterprise, threat landscape is constantly getting more complicated. Right. Because we spoke about using AI for security. The bad guys are using AI to create malware, to perpetrate threats. Now, to keep up against them, you have to ensure that you use AI in a very good fashion. So what we have done in Palo Alto Networks is build precision AI. The ability to use deep learning, the ability to use generative AI to make the analyst, the network security operator, more empowered to assure that wherever a person is coming from in the enterprise, whether the person is not even an employee, is a contractor, we give the ability to protect the enterprise with a single policy, single frame to look at. I think that's the power of a single platform with AI.
But do you think that what you observe around, that organizations, they are adapting to platformization, they are going for consolidation? And if yes, what has led to that shift?
So first, I would say very proud to say, India is definitely getting into the platformization game. Now, why? That's one reason where they know they have already stressed teams. They know the threat landscape is getting more complicated. And one big reason is, and as recently as a couple of days ago, I had the opportunity to talk to the group CISO of one of our large conglomerates in India. And the CISO was telling that they get a lot of requests for using AI applications. And it's so hard to understand which AI application to allow or disallow, because there's huge push from the board, from management within the enterprise, use AI, increase productivity, drive profitability, so on and so forth. But then what about security? Now, unfortunately, just as the digital economy has evolved, sometimes security is an afterthought. The requirement of using AI in the enterprise is really driving platformization, believe it or not. And the fact that they would like to see which of my existing applications are AI enabled. Am I able to control the data that's moving through these applications? If a new application is being used in the environment, is it a high-risk application? Can I define it as a framework when I onboard an application? Should I be allowing this application or disallowing this application? What are the attributes of this application? How much data will it consume from my enterprise? Where is the data going? Is it staying here? Is it going outside India? Am I meeting the DPDP Act? So there are so many aspects of just onboarding a simple AI application that this CISO has to undergo. Having a single pane of glass to see all this, both from a network perspective and from a SOC perspective, is important. Then the fourth aspect is building AI applications. See, the beauty of generative AI is the fact that anyone can build an AI application. The other day I was listening to a podcast and I myself got very excited. I haven't coded in a while, unfortunately, but vibe coding. There are so many tools now that non-coders can actually write code. So from defining a product document, like what I want the product to do, all the way to building the product, not enterprise grade, but basic, can be done. Imagine the improvement in productivity for any product company. Everyone wants to do this. But when you do this, are you using security in the whole process? So from coding to infrastructure to hosting in cloud to actually seeing what's happening in the enterprise, you want one platform to do all this. That's where we introduced the Cortex Cloud platform, allowing you from code to cloud to SOC, get a single place to see everything. So whether you're using AI, you're onboarding AI applications, but you're building AI for your enterprise, you will have a secure environment to do so.
But if you look at platformization alone, then how would you say, like, 3 top ways in which it helps you build AI ready infrastructure while also reducing complexity and improving your response to threat? So if you have to look at, like, top 3 advantages of doing it, what would those be?
So first, I think very relative to today, you having a platform allows you to adopt AI with confidence. I think it's probably the most top of mind for all CEOs, right? Keeping the CISO, who's my primary audience in mind, a platform allows them to adopt AI with confidence. We recently acquired a company, Protect AI. One of the things they do, out of the very good things that they're adding to our portfolio, is also red teaming. So when you build AI, you want to ensure that you're building a very secure product. So you want to test the AI in your environment. Is the model DOS protected, right? Is it prompt engineering protected? All this you will be able to do through one platform rather than buying one more product for prompt engineering, one more product for protecting your model. If you were given all this in one platform, it would be that fast. So that's the power of platformization from an AI perspective. Second is reducing your false positives. Enterprise is only getting complicated, right? We spoke about first everything was on-prem, multiple data centers. Then there is this hybrid. Most companies generally are hybrid, barring some of the born in the cloud companies, which is again a complex environment. You have security in the cloud, which has its own layers of security. You have security on-prem. There's always the ever-evolving network where you have people working from anywhere, right? You also have contractors coming in, non-employees coming in. So you just imagine how this is evolving. And now on top of that is, I'm going to use AI, right? So there's this nebulous piece of technology that's suddenly introducing yet another threat vector, if you will, in this environment. So reducing the number of false positives for analysts who are sitting in your security operations center is so important. So they can concentrate on what's really important, what's really true, and spend their time ensuring that they're able to protect your enterprise. That only can be done if you have one security data lake to get access to, and that's only allowed through a platform, right? That's only enabled through a platform. And last is, security cannot be equal to complexity. Security should be simple. Security should be empowered such that whenever there is change happening outside, you're still rock solid secure. For that, having one place to look at things, visibility. The fact that you cannot see everything in one place. Second is operations. There are simple things like vulnerability management, which is very complicated. You have servers in your environment, you have SaaS applications, vulnerabilities keep getting announced, and that's a fact of life, that's not going away. Do I need to address this vulnerability immediately? What's my top vulnerability to address? See, this is another power of AI that can reduce this complexity. So reducing complexity, empowering enterprises to use AI with confidence, and really simplifying how you use security, how you operate in your enterprise is what platformization allows you to do.
And Swapna, coming from the larger global perspective to the
Yes.
Indian one,
Yeah.
what would you say are some of the best practices that Indian enterprises they are adopting while integrating, a single platform, or unified platforms, and how is that also helping them in long-term risk resilience?
So, very good question, Anika. Platformization is definitely something our Indian customers are adopting. They might not do it in one shot. That is something I do want to share. They will do it eventually because there's a lot of not only perception but truth. They have sunken costs. They have investments that are already there. There is some of these large enterprises have very complex group structures where The network is managed separately, the SOC is managed separately, the cloud security is managed by a different team. So there's a lot to overcome. So things have to happen slowly. But I would say that the first step that our Indian enterprises have taken is automation. A lot of customers of ours have adopted automation to the extent where 90% of their operations are automated. It's absolutely a beautiful story, and I'm sure we have some case studies online. This automation sets the foundation for platformization. Then there are various components which eventually allows them to platformize. How does this reduce risk? This reduces risk because the fact that you have now one place to visualize your entire security landscape in your enterprise, you have ability to look at external threats, integrate those feeds internally, right? So the intelligence from outside is being brought. You have precision AI to ensure that anything bad that can happen from any of the attack surfaces is being addressed with deep learning. You have generative AI or co-pilots to help you navigate through the platform as and when required, which section of the platform you are looking at. All this allows them to adopt technology faster. And what's the technology they're going to adopt faster today is AI. It is the need of the hour. It has been proven. The fact that every couple of months, the precision of these models are getting finer and finer. The rate at which these models are being used to build new products, to make them smarter in a particular area. You cannot be ignorant, you cannot stay out of this. But if you have to do it securely, you need to be on a platform.
Now, Swapna, my last question will be around, and that is something that I have been asking, other leaders also who are in the same space, that, the promise of AI is immense. And as equally, is as big as the threat also that it poses, right?
Absolutely.
So in such a scenario, how do you see it sharpening the attack and defense, even when it comes to platformization? How it will make things easier, but also pose as a challenge?
So let me talk about the good side, how it makes things easier. In Palo Alto, we have always been using AI. In fact, we've been using AI for more than a decade now, because we are a 20-year plus old company. We have metadata. We see 2.3 million new threats every day. That allows us to protect our customers. And we see it in one place and we replicate the protection everywhere. Using AI has made this more precise, more faster. And that's where we came up with precision AI. So that's the positive side. Second positive is correlation. In the SOC, when you're bringing sometimes, and I'll tell some of the Indian customers, more than 40, 50 petabytes of data a day. It's a lot of data to sift through. No, there's no way a human being can do that. Correlating that data, building models, learning continuously how the environment is changing, being able to react to new threats in that environment, great use of AI. And proud to say a lot of our Indian customers have already adopted that a couple of years ago. Now, what happens with AI on the other side of the fence, right? The cat and mouse game that we have. They are using AI. It started off as, okay, let's build really smart phishing emails. Gone are the days when phishing emails had spelling mistakes or the domain looked fishy. Domain looks perfect. The email looks genuine.
Yeah.
It's very hard to be cheated by AI generated. But now, obviously, morphed malware. How do I create new malware? I recently heard of another threat where DNS was being used, and they actually broke the malware file into sections. And with every DNS packet, a section of the file was being sent, put it all together, and the malware landed at the endpoint. Social engineering has got much easier. Imagine if I had to troll through 4 to 5 social media platforms to understand who Anika is, what are her habits, what does she do, and when can I go and actually catch her at the most vulnerable time. It's much easier with AI because I can put in a name and I can say, go and search these 5 social media platforms, create a persona, define the best time to go after this individual, the best way to go after this individual, what application do they interact with most, what's happening in their lives. It's so much easier, right? It's reduced. The research would take hours, now it's gone to minutes. So that's the bad side of AI. So you need to use AI to fight AI because we are fighting a very different battle. It takes 27 minutes now to breach an enterprise. So an enterprise, efforts which took hours, days, months to days to hours, now to minutes. How does an enterprise keep up with that? They need to have very robust security measures. Not only always protect, but always be able to detect. You have to assume breach. Only then will you be protected. So that's why there are a lot of good reasons AI is being used in cybersecurity. But unfortunately, a lot of bad uses of AI on the bad actor side.
So clearly at a time when, you'd say the perimeters, they are dissolving. So protection, I guess, is the only performance, or rather the actual performance.
Yes, yes. Protection has to be very robust. And the mentality of assume breach has to be constant. So the fundamentals remain the same. Do multi-layered security. There is no compromise on that. But ensure that you cannot stop a business from progressing. So as technology is changing, you're able to adopt it. Ensure that security is fundamentally part of the foundation, not as a bolt-on. Because in today's day and age, it won't work.
Thank you, Swapna. Thank you for joining ETH
Thank you,
Insights.
Anika. Pleasure.